So here's episode 2 of downrange. We haven't been canceled yet.
That's good. That's for me a record.
And you guys had me on.
And
you're
now
kind of screwed.
Nick Best, thank you, Nick, for coming on.
Sure.
And we didn't have to coerce you in any way at all, even though Kris is your boss. So I don't know if she
only his job was on the line.
Yeah. I like working here. So yes, ma'am.
And you started here 2 years ago?
A little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
May was 2 years.
How did you two get connected?
That's a funny story. So I was using influencers to promote the range because a lot of times the things we do here, you're not allowed to advertise on Google or however, the conventional business would advertise. It's harder for us. So we use a lot of influencers. Nick was one of my influencers.
Yes.
And then he asked me.
Yeah, well, I didn't necessarily need to leave the house. So I get out of the house about once every week or so, and I just want to be around people again. I asked her if I could intern, and she looks at me, she goes, "No, it's too dangerous." I'm like, "Oh." She goes, "So I'll just hire you, work when you want." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Have you always been a gun guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe in the Second Amendment. I've always been a gun guy, but I didn't get into it very much because of, strongman and powerlifting and all the stuff I'm doing. So every time I got an opportunity to come here and shoot, I took full advantage of it, and I'd be in here hours just shooting away in there.
That's awesome.
So it was a lot of fun. So, and then getting in here, I always figured if you want to get good at shooting guns, go work at a gun range. And I've gotten a lot better in the last year and a half.
What's the coolest part about working here?
You don't even know where to begin. I mean, the people you work with are absolutely amazing. They're professional, but they're just so much fun. We've had a blast. I mean, some of the videos we've done are just absolutely hilarious. And here, hold this. And Kris is like, hits the floor. Or when we came out wearing the leggings that day. Just stuff like that.
The videos you guys do, like with Charles, are hilarious.
Oh,
absolutely freaking hilarious. And it shows just the culture here, even though it's weapons. So you got to take it seriously.
Right.
But you're very lighthearted in terms of the atmosphere that's here.
Yeah.
When you work, when you play, it's good.
You want people to have fun, but there's rules that they have to follow. We stick to the rules, but you want people to have a good time and have fun. Nobody has fun going to range and everybody's yelling at you. It's like you go in, you follow the rules, we make sure everybody's safe and everything else, and then we want you to have a good time while you're doing it.
Yeah. I also think there's something about having such stringent rules and being so serious where you almost need the balance of laughing and some humor to kind of even out that seriousness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we're so serious in the range. When it's pretty fucking serious.
We have to be.
Guys sitting there pointing the gun at his hand. Come walk in, take him into the thing, pull that out of his hand.
I was going to ask, what are some of the more unique things you've seen people do because you're an RSO?
Yes.
So as an RSO here, what are some of the more unique things you've seen folks do at Range 702?
Well, probably I think my third week here, some guy was shooting a short-nosed Smith & Wesson 500, and he was in there blasting away for about a half hour, and he was trying to convince his girlfriend, who's actually really pretty, to shoot the gun, and he's sitting there going, "Come on, you can really do this." And he does this, and it DEs downrange, and boom, the thing flies up, hits him here in the nose and in the tooth, knocks his tooth out, and messed him up pretty good. But I mean, it wasn't smart. But thank God he had shot 4 of them already, so that was the last one in the gun. But that wasn't real.
That was right when you started working here too. Yeah.
So that was a pretty good introduction on how serious things can be. So there's certain times when you see something like that, you're like, okay, when I'm doing this, I have to pay attention to these things. And there's nothing that can slide. There's no room. You go in, you take care of it, you make sure people are safe.
What's more intense, going in and squatting a small car at the gym or working with Kris Chanski?
Ooh. Nicholas. Nicholas, answer wisely.
What she called you Nicholas like she's your mother. That's hilarious.
Like she's my little sister. Squatting at the gym? No.
That's correct.
No, you know what? I honestly, probably some of the things working here is probably just a little bit more serious, but you pretty much when you're lifting weights that are that heavy, you make a wrong move and you can go to the morgue. So you got to be careful too.
And what's that say about Nick, that he's drawn to such wildly dangerous things?
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, it's
true.
kind of like you're an adrenaline junkie, but not. It's more like intensity.
Intensity junkie would probably be it. Yeah, the razor focus that you can put into things can truly, because it's scary. But if I'm focusing something, I have the ability to just block everything else around me out. I wouldn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, they could have a TV camera, 200 million people could be watching it, and this is the only thing I'm focused on.
And I think that quality is something that you need to be a successful strongman, and you need that quality to be successful in the range. So that's probably where the connection comes in for you.
Yeah.
What's more intense for you? What's the most weight you've ever power lifted? Let's say
the most weight I've ever lifted, in general, was we're on The Strongest Man in History. On the TV show, and we were doing Paul Anderson's episode, which was pretty cool. And he did a thing called the carousel lift that he did on the Ed Sullivan show. And all these people sit on this round circle, and then there's an X going across it and a chain and rod coming straight down to it. He's up above it and he hooks the chain into the belt and he pushes it off the ground. And it was 2,700 pounds and it could move and swing like this. And we reenacted that at his boys' home. And 3 of the 4 of us did 27:10 to break the record. And then Eddie didn't want to do it again because he kind of hurt his back. And then Brian's like, I got contests coming up. I'm good. And he's like, if you want to try more, go ahead. So we switched some bodies on it. And I ended up doing 2,791 pounds.
Carousel lift?
Yeah, the carousel lift.
Nick, what's heavier?
It's like a hip lift.
What's heavier, the weight of a carousel lift or the weight of the guilt Kris Chanski puts on you when she's not happy with you?
It's the carousel.
Chris's guilt.
Thank you.
Hands down. It's not even
Thank
close.
you.
I mean, there's nothing I've run into that can actually equal that. I would rather chew off my arm than disappoint or upset her.
He needs his arm, so.
It's something we talked about at the first episode. It was just her and I. And I said, the coolest part about here is that people give a shit.
Yeah.
Everyone that works here cares. They really care. And they do stuff for Kris. It's almost like I told her, I go, you manage by like clairvoyance. People know what you need before you even know that you need it for her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're just going and doing stuff for her, which I've never, I help people grow their businesses with marketing. I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Oh, yeah.
In a work environment. It's awesome.
Yeah, we all just kind of function together. We'll look at things. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. We all just go start doing it. And I mean, it's the good training. It's learning from everyone straight through top to bottom. Yeah. You know what your job is. You know what needs to get done, and you make sure you get it done. One day you'll load mags. The next day you'll sweep out the ranges. The next day you take out the garbage. Everybody has kind of a different responsibility to do and take care of.
Awesome. And you get to shoot as much as you want to.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
That's what I'm going to talk to Kris next time she's hiring people, because I will go ahead and load mags and push brass around or whatever. I can be brassy.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's not bad. Yeah.
What a great gig.
It's always better with there's 2. And I told her that once and she just handed me another push broom. So go ahead, here you go. There's 2. I was like, oh, what the heck? And then kind of walked out of the room.
So do you still do competitive strongman competitions?
I'm going to unretire this year and do Masters World Strongest Man again.
Where?
It'll be in Dallas, Texas this year in the middle of November.
Right
so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a powerlifting meet at the Shaw Classic in August, where I'll try to make it the 29th year that I've squatted over 800 and totaled over 2,000.
For you.
My record's 27. So if I can get that now, nobody's ever done that long anywhere.
Why unretiring? Bored? Or the challenge of it, of challenging yourself, do you think?
Well, yeah, but I think I retired because I didn't know what was going to happen with the cancer. I had a bench press accident where I dropped the bar on my chest and had to go to the hospital to get a CT scan to make sure I didn't have any internal bleeding. And I had like some bruised ribs, some messed up cartilage, and a hematoma. And we had an incidental finding. And I was like, okay, what's that? And apparently I had a tumor that was like 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters by 3 centimeters inside my right kidney. And it turns out it's renal cell carcinoma. So we found that October 12th, and they took my kidney January 3rd. So in the middle of that was, Masters World's Strongest Man in November, and I went and did that. And then I retired because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it on one kidney. I just didn't know how it was going to heal or anything else. And then I was coming back, and I was training really hard last year because I'm like, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And then I had an unfortunate accident and broke my thumb, and then had to put that off. So this year I'm coming back. I'll at least do this one because I want to come back and do one more.
Kris always says she loves her employees so much. Has she ever offered her extra kidney to help you out? No? That's disappointing. That's
I really need to step it up.
That's disappointing, Kris.
I know. I should do better.
I know there's an I in Kris, but why be so self-serving? That's disappointing. Nick's a wonderful person.
He's outperforming me. He clearly doesn't need my kidney.
Never know.
I mean,
he might want one more carousel lift. You never know.
I think he's going to do it without the kid. I will say I've seen Nick do some crazy shit. It's actually just inspiring to be around him because I think that moment that you're like, I think about Nick all the time when I'm in the gym and I'm like, oh, this is too heavy. And then I'm like, Nick lifts 15 times more than this. It's not even double. It's just this insane number. He talks about the weight he lifts. I can't even fathom how much weight that is.
What's the most inspirational thing about Nick to you?
I think to me, it's just that he just he's just walking around here sweeping up the range like everyone else, but then he can go do these great things. And it's just such a reminder that if you just put your head to something, Nick isn't some of these strongmen are 7 feet tall and whatever. Nick just worked hard. Mm-hmm. He just put his head down and decided. So it's just it's a good thing for us all to remember. You can just decide.
Well, I think it's just a switch gets flipped.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're okay, I'm going to do this with my life.
Yep.
And people can bitch and moan and complain about stuff, but it's come on.
Well, I did World's Strongest Man the first time when I was 42.
Really?
I was 41 years, 10 months when I did it the first time, and I did it 10 times. So I did my last one at 51. So
that's impressive.
The big show, the one that's on TV.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. So
how long is the training for stuff like that? Is it year round? You just don't stop?
Yeah. It's year round. When I was at that international level where I was in the top 10 in the world, that was all year round. I was no more than 8 weeks out from being able to do a contest at any time. I stayed in shape all year. I stayed strong all year. I would take a little time off here. I'd miss workout here or there, but everything else was on point because I would judge my body on how it felt and maybe take an extra day's rest or stuff, but there was no time off because I knew my time was limited.
Do you ever have a certain food that is your kryptonite, like brownies or a chocolate milkshake from the Burger?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get this right, too. It's an apple fritter.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, I do like apple fritters.
A good apple fritter? A warm one?
Mm-hmm.
I would specifically say it's an apple fritter from Pink Box.
Yeah.
A Pink Box. Shout out to Pink Box. We are talking about sponsorships.
The apple fritter was awesome, by the way.
We could use a box of apple fritters here. It would help. It would help. I think they do have the best apple fritters in town for
fantastic.
sure.
Is that your number one? That's your thing? Is apple fritters?
For donuts,
that's awesome.
That's the go-to.
Yeah,
and hers too. She likes.
Yeah, I share.
Is that why you remember? Interesting.
Because me and Nick are fighting in the back for the apple fritter.
It's interesting, Kris, how things always seem to come back to you for some reason. Your kidney, your apple fritter. It's a whole thing.
Never.
It's crazy.
I would never, and I have never taken the apple fritter. I always cut it in half and leave Nick the bigger half of the apple fritter.
That is just mighty, mighty big of you. Okay, she's selfless.
Yes, totally. Absolutely.
She gets out the measuring app on her phone and measures down to a millimeter.
I have
how big the apple fritter is.
Yeah.
All right, for Nick, for me.
The one time I took the whole apple fritter, Nick was out of town. I took the whole thing.
And Nick didn't sleep well that night because he knew.
You were I think you were in Europe somewhere. Like, what am I
knew.
supposed to do, man? I'm eating the whole thing.
He could feel it. He took his fritter.
He could feel the betrayal.
How dare you, Kris Chanski, take Nick's fritter?
I fucked up.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You've gotten them plenty of times.
We'll come back from this.
Yeah.
What is it about being here that you love the most? What's the coolest part? Number one thing about being here?
It's like a sense of one big family, to be quite honest with you. I mean, everybody here cares about everybody else. Everybody goes to everybody else's, gatherings and stuff like that. And most everybody's friends outside of here, and they show up to things. And when you're going through hell, they show up and you can talk to them. I mean, I don't know how many times I talked to her while I was having problems with things, and they just set your head right and get you going in the right direction and keep your head, hey, it's not the end of the world. Let's go. You're going to be just fine. Move this way. You're going to be okay.
It's such a blessing.
It's a massive blessing.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
How many people bitch and moan about their jobs? Where you guys not only spend time together here, but it's like, and Kris has said it before, out of here, you guys are all hanging out doing stuff. Super Bowl parties, like the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of places don't do that.
No, not at all.
Just don't do that. And here it's again, it's an overused term to say, whoa, it's a work family, but here it really is.
It really is. Yeah.
Right.
And I've worked in other places, and like I've worked in 2 different beer companies here in this town, and there's some really good people at those, but it's not, the camaraderie is not like it is here. Not even close.
How often do you get inebriated people that come in from your neighbors next door, which is Hustler, by the way? I'll say it. You don't have to. I'll say it. Hustler Club. And how often do people come in here inebriated thinking that they can actually be allowed to shoot a weapon?
Oh, plenty, but usually they don't come over from next door. They come in from cabs or whatever.
Really?
They came here that way thinking they were going to do that. They get to the front, and that's about as far as they get.
Yeah. We have a good working relationship with Hustler, which is great.
Yeah.
We're friendly with them. So usually
I always thought it was just Hustler. That's banana. People like Uber here.
Oh, yeah.
Shit-faced, thinking that they can shoot.
They'll walk in with
they'll finish drinking their daiquiri right up front.
those like necklace. What are those things? It's like a necklace, and they have the
daiquiris, the yards, the necklace yards. Yeah.
They'll walk in with that,
like Uber just from like the Four Queens on Fremont Street,
right?
With their like yard margarita, and think they can come in here and shoot.
I think Vegas has this perception that like there's no laws here.
Oh boy!
So we have to remind them it's like a federal offense. You can't do that. We have an NRS code too, and we actually have it hung up on the wall so that we can let them know that there is a law against that. But I think people really have this feeling that like there's no laws in Vegas and they can just do whatever they want.
They also think other things don't smell when they walk through the door.
Right, yeah.
Also, like, they open the door and you're just like, oh my God.
Also a federal offense.
So it's like they were just at a Snoop Dogg concert?
Yes.
Basically?
Yes. Yeah, it's like, oh no. We can... They're like, I didn't. You can smell it. I'm terribly sorry. You can come back tomorrow, but you're good today. So,
Nick, for somebody coming to Range 702 for the first time as a range safety officer, what are the main things they should know? Like, first of all, come sober.
Yes.
Don't come under the influence of any hallucinogenics.
Correct.
Right?
Don't come pregnant.
What else? Don't come pregnant? Mm-hmm. Because someone might have like a breach, like a water might break or something?
No, it's the hearing. So we're unable to give the child in the womb hearing protection, basically, is what it is.
Wouldn't that be cool if you could, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of.
I mean, that's a great, you know what?
So no pregnant. You can't be pregnant.
Can't be pregnant.
What else?
You got to be sober.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be older than 10.
Yep.
If you're under 18, you have to have a parent or guardian with you.
That it?
And then you need to be able to listen to instructions. That part's pretty important.
Follow instructions.
Yeah.
How well do people listen to instructions?
For me, pretty well.
I was like, I don't think Nick has that problem.
Well, that's my follow-up, Nick. Have you ever had a problem with somebody not following your instructions? And where and what dumpster can we find them in?
Actually, I've had a couple people that had a couple issues, and they tried to turn with guns, and they didn't get very far. And I just stand there and hold them, and they try to turn, and they don't go anywhere. And they're like, I'm like, nope. So
Nick has a real advantage because he is so much stronger than every single guest he will ever run, which is not the way the rest of us have advantages.
Absolutely.
So I think Nick is actually, he might be one of the only RSOs that I've never had to like jump in. I don't think I've ever jumped in on any. Yeah, well, first of all, you have to be a different level of stupid to look at Nick and decide that you're going to think you're stronger than him. So I think, in fact, I've given Nick a couple groups that are like problems.
That were challenging, yeah.
Yeah, because they just look at him and they shape right up, you know?
Like bachelor parties?
Yeah, like just people that are a little too rowdy.
A lot of testosterone.
Yeah, or they're like not taking it serious, you know? We're up at the front like, hey, you have to listen and whatever. And little do they know, Nick is actually so nice.
It's great.
But just, you know, the way he looks kind of.
And then there's times where it's not like you're mean, but you're just short.
Firm, yeah.
And you're just, so this is what it is. This is what we're doing. Well, can I? No. Can I do it? No. Gun's got to face that way. So you can stand here and take the picture going this way, and that's fine, but that's it. You can't turn with it.
Yeah. If a gun starts to turn and Nick grabs it, there's not going to be, it's not
going anywhere.
Yeah, there's no fight. Like, Nick will win pretty easily. So he has that advantage in the range for sure.
Well, then Colton teaches us all taught me how to disarm people.
Right.
So
there are all these techniques and Nick knows them, but I would have to say you probably don't even really need, like, I need the technique. I have to do the technique perfectly, you know, or I fail. Where, like, you know, if Nick does it wrong, he's just like strength will just take over at some point.
Do you think you'll be here forever?
Till Kris, for whatever reason, tells me I can't be here anymore. Yeah, I'll be here probably till I just decide I don't want to work anymore.
You do seem like a perfect. You do seem like a perfect fit for this place.
No, it's fun. I love getting up and coming here in the morning, and that's the biggest thing about it. I love coming here. I love going to work. I love what I do. It's fun. The joy on somebody's face when they get to shooting, when they're petrified, when they walk through the door, and they come in, and they have a ball. It's worth it.
It's awesome, right? It's something that can be very intimidating, but you provide a very safe atmosphere, and they trust you.
Yeah,
that's the biggest part. Is they're trusting you, and that for them to be comfortable enough to go, this is amazing.
Yeah,
you know.
So it's really special when they get that way, and they're like shaking and they're petrified. They go, "I got you. No matter what happens, I got you.
Yeah,
you're gonna be okay. Let's just go through this. We're gonna go through the steps." And then you won't have to be afraid. Then by the end, they're bouncing off the wall and they're in the back and they're over at the thing and I'm signing their paper for them and their target and everything else. And they're just having a ball and they want to go do it again. Yeah. That's what I live for.
It's really special to be part of that moment too, I think.
It's awesome. I mean, and you look at these days on the news and online, how we're so fractionalized. People are angry, the riots going on, all that crap. And to look at what can be a very violent thing, firearms, weapons, and you make it a very comfortable, safe, respectable environment.
Right.
And that's credit to both you guys with what you're doing is it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like my kids were here and Jacob was who, and for some reason I asked for you and she said, no, he's an asshole. So she wouldn't let me work with you. So again, I'm sorry. I can't, Kris. I can't keep up. I can't protect you all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, why don't you give him a kidney? And she said, I'm never going to give him my kidneys. It's never going to happen either.
Kidney.
She goes, I wouldn't trust your kids with him or my kidney with him.
Oh my gosh.
I can to
Yeah.
But it was and we loved it. It was fun. But it's something that, you know, we live in a country that the right to bear arms is, protected by the Constitution, by our founding fathers.
That did it for a reason.
And so it's something that everybody should be exposed to, but in a controlled, almost everybody. I was 9 years old. My dad had a Ruger 22, bolt action in Canandaigua, New York at the Canandaigua Sportsman's Club. And I'll never forget it. And it was just a cool moment in our life that I'll always hold near and dear to my heart with my dad. And so for my kids to come here and have their first experience here is very cool to me. And that I have it on video and I have pictures of it. That is stuff I will hold. It's a like watershed moment in my life as a dad. And the fact that
100%.
Kris was cool enough, I bust her chops and she lets me, and bless her heart, but she's wonderful. And that she was so cool we came here not expecting that. We came here to shoot the podcast. She's like, nope, if you're here, we're going to shoot. And she always says that. And it's just one of the kindest things ever for her to open up. Because for her, she's very protective.
Mm-hmm.
And you were all family to her, and so for her to let a friend in like that with his kids, it meant a lot. It was awesome. And my kids had a blast with it, I think, right, children? Shooting? Yeah. Well, Jack did. 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
And both
I think
of mine.
they had a good time.
I think they had
both of mine too, because mine's 24, the other one's 17 or 18 now.
Yeah.
And they both are very good at shooting now. Jess got over her fear of shooting guns here when we were shooting the 22 rifle here. There was a fully automatic 22 rifle that we had at the time, and she came in, and that was the end of it. And now she's got her own 9mm carbine. What's
the best way, Nick, that you help somebody get over a fear of firearms here at Range 702?
I mean, the best thing I did with them is I just make them feel calm and just let them know I'm standing right here with you. You're not by yourself. I have a hand on the gun. I have a hand on your shoulder. Everything's going to be okay. All you got to do is pull the trigger. If you're comfortable with it, we'll do it again. If not, we're good, but you're going to be okay. I got you.
I couldn't think of anybody else I'd rather have than you. Just because, but not just because of your physical size, but just you care.
Yeah.
I think your heart is bigger than your body, metaphorically, because for you to get emotional enough to say that when somebody comes in here and they're terrified and you played a role in them getting over that fear, it shows how much you care.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool, my friend. You're welcome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
How many people go to work and get that emotional in a positive way?
Not many.
No, nobody. Who? Tell me one blackjack dealer at the Bellagio that gets emotional because they toss someone to split aces and eights. Nobody.
None.
Right? And so what you're doing here is far more violent and could be far more harmful, but you teach people in a way to go, I've got you. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen. Just trust me.
Oh, 100%.
That's so empowering.
Yeah.
And you have multiple people here like that.
Well, I think if you're going to work here successfully in the way that we're doing it, you have to have both parts.
Yep.
You have to be this big badass that could save the day and that can work with these, weapons. And there's that side of it. You have to be very strong. You have to be fast. You have all this crazy badassery, but then you also have to have this very soft side of you that you can help someone that is terrified.
Right. Oh,
so it's a very peculiar person that has to work here.
You have to have empathy.
Because we've got a lot of people in here from Europe that have never been around.
I never even thought of that.
I would say 70% of the people that come in here.
A little bit. What countries are they coming from, and what preconceived notions, Nick, do they have when they're walking in the range?
We're going to die. The guns are dangerous. I'm like, they need to be respected. As long as you respect it, it's a tool and it's a useful tool. Yeah. So all we got to do is respect the firearm for what it is, and everything's going to be fine. And we're going to have respect for it, so you're going to be fine. We get people from Germany, we get people from France, we get people from England. We get a ton of people from England.
Yeah, a ton. And I think they walk in here going, Americans are crazy, and they love their guns so much. And I think initially they're like, yeah, you guys are crazy.
They don't understand why.
Yeah. And then they walk out going, oh, that was really fun. Yeah. Maybe these Americans are onto something.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fargo. And before I began my fitness journey with the Young for Life Wellness, I look like this.
Well, I think that they watch the, Clint Eastwood movies and everything else, and all the violent movies that are out there that are made in America, that are shot in America, that portray us as, we each have 45 guns at home with 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and which isn't enough, by the way. And
it's small numbers.
It's small numbers. And so, but it's that external perception that people have, and then they come here And that's completely turned around.
Well, we had an interesting thing happen one time. There was a group of guys all from Europe, and they came in like they all do, and they're asking us all these questions about guns and that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, you guys are crazy. All this kind of stuff. And then they were waiting. We give shuttle rides like to their hotels. So they were done shooting. They had a great time. They were like, that's fun, but probably, still thinking we're crazy. And they're waiting up there for their shuttle. And we had a little incident. So whenever we have these moments, we have some people that will go take care of the incident and then some people that will move everybody back. So they got moved back to a safe area, but they also saw what was happening. And then the incident was complete and they came back out and we brought them to the shuttle and they were just in awe. They were like, oh, you guys, I was taking care of the incident. They were like, you just ran up there. You weren't scared at all. I was like, well, I have a gun. Why would I be scared? I don't want to use it. And I didn't have to use it. I calmly resolved it, but I wasn't fearful at all because there's no risk for me. I'm there with a gun. I have two guys, on either side of me with guns. There's nothing to be scared of. And I think they kind of saw that.
It's training. You're always training for stuff because you can. How many people do you know that have a gun and haven't shot it in the past month, year, 2 or 3 years, 5 years?
Too many.
I wonder how many people have a CCW and they're carrying and have no idea how to rapidly wait, BJ Baldwin in here. He's like, well, I can draw my gun. I can have 0.14 seconds. Yep. He's like, if you knew how many times I shot the anchor for CNN with snap caps, whatever it's called, I'm like, oh my God, BJ. But I'm like, he's not shitting around. He's serious. And he's like, that's how you just keep.
But he puts the work in. He puts the work in. He'll be in here for hours.
Oh yeah, we see him all the time.
When that episode, it will already have dropped when this one drops, but when he talks about ballistics, it's like a PhD dissertation.
Oh boy.
When he is talking, and I'm like, what? I've never seen her more excited in her entire life.
I love it.
She loves it.
I love it.
And I'm going, oh my God.
When I have a question about ballistics, I don't go to anybody else. 100%. Yeah.
But
again, it's like you said, it's putting in the work, right?
It's putting in the work. It's putting in the practice. He'll come in and watching him shoot. He'll put everything in a spread about that big, and it's just, but it's pop, 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 and you're just like watching that because to fire that fast and to be that accurate, that's a lot of work. It's truly a lot of work, and it's not just the gun because his gun's unreal. And he's like, "Hey, you want to shoot it?" And I'm like. Yeah. It's like, come on here. And I'm like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And I'm like, wow, that's fun. It's pretty neat. I shoot quite a bit and I still couldn't put the thing as tight as he got it.
For someone to stay up and just hone their skills, if they have their CCW, how often should they be practicing? Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week?
It depends on how good you want to be. If you want to be really good, you're going to go 3-4 times a week. If you want to be good and solid, at least twice. If you want to just have the skill and be able to use the skill once a month, once a week in there, I like to shoot 3 or 4 times a week if I can.
Here?
Yeah. I'll go buy a couple boxes and come in and knock some rounds out, and then I'll come in every once in a while with all my other stuff and shoot as well.
It's just people just need to put the time, effort into it.
Yeah.
And they're not. Like I said,
well, it's like that with anything. It's like that with the gym. If you want to get in shape, put the work and time in. It took you years to get out of shape. You're not going to be in shape in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Really, I could say the range would be easier than the gym. We have quite a few people who will come on their way to work a few times a week or on their way home from work a few times a week. And it's sometimes only, 15 to 30 minutes. And it's just, that. You don't have to get changed like you do for the gym. It arguably is easier to do than the gym. So I don't know. I don't know why people don't get on it.
We're waiting for our CCWs to come in, which it's almost 120 days. When they come in, though, my wife and I have talked about we're going to start coming here for date nights.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We have it on record, people.
No, yeah. No,
Yep.
please. And Brandy's down. And then she really hasn't. And she's from Northern Georgia. Like, I think they used to shoot their dinner all the time in Appalachia. Like, that's just what they did. I love you, honey, but I'm serious. And so she said that she wants to put the work in. She wants to start coming here. I'm like, honey, great. I'm 100% down. And I'm lucky enough to have a friend that has a range. And so we can come wherever we want to and shoot.
Well, it's a great thing for couples to do as well. I think it's similar to the gym where it's like really bonding. It's a thing that you have to overcome and you can get better together. And it's like a very bonding moment. So I think it's fun to do.
I love that for her. I love that for the strength of our relationship. I mean, I love her more than anything in the world. And that to know that like she has my back. If something happens,
each other's back.
Yeah. And we have each other's back.
Well, it's attractive. It's attractive to look at your partner and be like, they got me. That's cool. Attractive. Yeah.
It's cool. Like, heaven forbid, if something happens, I know that she could, and vice versa. She knows I'll take care of her. But it's, again, I wonder what the percentage is of people, like let's just say in Clark County, Nevada, that have their CCWs, but haven't shot their weapon that they have in the past, like 6 months or a year.
Far too high. Like
60%, 70%, 80% of people that just get their CCW and then forget it. It's almost like, again, I'm a marketing guy. They should be incentivized that, hey, once you get your CCW with Dustin?
Casey.
With Casey was awesome.
Except
real memorable, huh?
Except when you used to
with Sam, with Jim, that came in. But you give something to everybody here to go, okay, now look here's a coupon for half an hour.
Yeah, we do that.
Or whatever. And say, come in. And if you do, then you get, Nick Best will hang out and bench press you afterwards or something like that.
Well, sometimes I pop into the class too, because apparently.
You popped in ours. It was hilarious.
I'm with Casey. As a demonstration device.
Which was hilarious.
So I'll just walk in and be like, quit telling people they can shoot me. And then I'll pet Casey on the head, call him George.
Do you have any more classes here you're going to be offering besides CCW?
Yeah, well, we do the one-on-one classes already, which is really important. Yeah. A lot of people do one-on-one classes before CCW because they're just...
one of those today.
Yeah, because they're so wildly uncomfortable to go into a CCW, so they do it before. And a lot of people will do it after too, because they'll take the CCW class and realize... oh, wait, I'm not good like I thought I was. I need a little bit more. So we do the one-on-ones like crazy. That's part of what RSOs did. Like Nick mentioned, he did one today. He's a fan favorite. A lot of people request him. So I think those are really, really important just to get that like one-on-one. There's so much in the class that we can't do that's like just so personal.
Yeah, and the lady today, she did great. I mean, her kept getting smaller and smaller, and she's like, wow, this is getting better. I'm like, yep. And as we keep going, the more you shoot, the better it's going to get. When you learn how to deal with the recoil and hold the gun up for a long period of time, you're just going to keep getting better. But we start with the basics, your feet, slight bend in your knees, slight crack in your hips, slight bend forward, arms straight out, the right way to hold the gun, and then, teaching her how to use her sights and stuff like that. And then showing her the difference between her sights and a red dot. Today, she was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, red dot's the way to go.
What's more satisfying for you? Holding a world record in powerlifting or helping out somebody that it's like their first time and getting them over that hump of being nervous and they get more comfortable with shooting? What's a better feeling for you?
That's always pretty rewarding. It really is. It's a pretty neat thing when you set a world record too. But
absolutely,
it's neat because I know that person's going to be better and safe for their whole and the rest of their entire life, and that's a pretty cool thing.
And which one gets you more attention from the ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken bow wow.
He's like both.
Yeah, both.
What a rough life this man lives.
The thing is, that's not me. I mean, I just love the fact that I can have people teach them something that's going to make them safer. It's a skill. It's always good to have and never need.
Yeah.
But it's a bad skill to need and not have. So I'd rather teach you a skill that will make you safer for the whole rest of your entire life, for every day, than, and have a skill that you don't need, than have a skill that you need and don't have.
Now more than ever.
Yes. Yeah.
We look at what's going on. We're the middle of June in 2025, and The way the world is right now, up is down, down is up. It's wild what's going on, and not in a good way.
Nope.
So it's to have those core fundamentals of how to draw your weapon, how to, the whole thing, how to fire it, everything. It's just, and you do it over and over and over and over again. Like I love you saying, people come in like before work.
Yeah.
On their way to work. I mean, that's awesome.
Honestly.
We have quite a few people. I mean, we have a couple hundred people that have memberships here, and they just literally like
so
three
cool.
3 to 5 times a week. We'll see them. They come on their way to work. They work
Membership's the way to go.
that 2 p.m. shift on the strip, and they'll come on their way to work, on their way home from work, and
we got a doctor that works in a hospital.
Yeah,
comes in his scrubs, goes out and shoots, and then off he goes.
And the whole country really, but I live here in Las Vegas, so I really firsthand see what's going on in the city. I can't imagine living in Las Vegas and making a conscious decision to not carry a firearm with me every day. I don't understand that line of thinking. I just, every time I see something in the news pull up, all I can think of is please, for the love of God, everyone get your CCW. Yeah. Get a firearm. There's just...
And practice. It's I
shouldn't have to do marketing, quite frankly. I feel like our 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock news does my marketing for me.
It's true.
Yeah, you should see this stuff and decide, hey, I'm gonna take my safety and my family's safety seriously.
What's the perfect gun for someone that... And I know this is a very broad question. There's different answers, but... If you're getting your CCW, what's the first gun you should probably get? What's a good first gun for somebody?
In all honesty, you could answer this.
I feel like you were going to answer it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, fine, I'll answer
go for it.
Nick, she's not going to give you a kidney. Let her have it. Go ahead. If she's letting you answer it, let her have it. Go ahead, take it and run, my friend.
In all honesty, the small little guns are not a great idea. They're snappy. They're hard to hold on to. Oh, it fits my hand. Doesn't matter. It's not going to stay in your hand. It's going to bounce and stuff like that. So closer to a full-size firearm is your first ones. You're going to shoot it way more accurately because the small little guns are only good for about 7 yards.
Yeah. Wow.
And then after that, the bigger full-size guns are good for 15 to 25 with no problem. If you got to shoot something farther than that, you can run to get away from there before you need to do anything further than that.
100%. And we get women, especially, I don't know what it is. They come in here and they just go,
this tiniest.
Yeah, they go, oh no, I just want a little small one. And I think they don't understand. It's way harder to shoot.
The recoil on it's going to be tenfold worse than a bigger gun.
Yep.
The heavier the gun is, the less recoil it's going to have.
What specific gun, Nick, would be the perfect gun for somebody?
I don't know. There's so many different models. I come from a principle where is if you get good enough to where you can shoot a Glock, you can pretty much shoot anything. Because if you can shoot a Glock, you can pick up any firearms because there's really nice ones. We've shot staccatos and stuff like that. I pick up a staccato and I'm just, it's lethal. It makes bad shooters really good.
Yeah.
But if you get good at shooting like a Glock, because they're everywhere, the parts for them are everywhere. Yeah. It's the easiest thing to find. If you get good at shooting that, you're going to shoot anything.
Yeah.
But that's just my...
And then everybody, there's certain guns, there's the easy, there's a gun that's just literally made for someone who's having a hard time operating that firearm. Yep. So it kind of depends on the person, what they're going to use it for. Yeah. Are they just using it for home protection? Are they planning on carrying it? Do they have issues with their hands? There's kind of all these things that go into it. So that's also why the one-on-one classes are so nice because you can sit there and try a few different ones and work with your instructor, understand what you're doing. You're not walking into a store and having, some FUD just sell you the one gun that they can't get rid of,
Right.
So, which happens,
They're not
sadly.
trying to move through inventory. They're trying to give you what's best for you.
What about accessories in terms of a red dot or a light or, laser? What type of accessories, both of you, do you think that
don't ask either of us because our whole paycheck just goes straight back to this store.
Yeah.
Once you start down the accessory road, there's no coming back. I don't know.
It's a good road though. I mean, in all honesty, the accessories are there for a reason. It makes you better at what you do. A red dot to me is better than iron sights, even though some people just want iron sights all the time. But a red dot, today I showed the lady the difference between her iron sights and the red dot. Well, she ended up shooting the little guy with the 5 up there on the targets. No problem with the red dot. She's like, oh, I'm like, this is why
Isn't that great?
you have one point of focus, where the other, you're trying to line up 2 points of focus. Now you got one, and it's a lot easier for people to figure that out. So that's a good thing. And then, your trigger, the poundages on your trigger. If you're not as strong, I mean, you bring that down. Now when you pull the trigger, the front of the gun moves less, and it makes it easier to shoot more accurately. And then you can change things with like the recoil on the spring and stuff like that. So it alters the recoil. So you can spend like $30 and have the gun shoot, or $30 and $20 and have the gun shoot like it's another $800 value gun.
So I have hand tremors. I have essential tremors in my hands. And BJ gave me some of the best advice after we shot our episode. And he was showing me how to, instead of hold here, hold like up here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like in front of the trigger guard. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that you'll learn on your one-on-one class that you won't learn in CCW. So CCW, you get like the fundamentals, the laws. You'll be able to shoot safely and well. But the one-on-one class is where you'll see that.
Yeah.
Those kind of little things that will really help you specifically, where you'll get the tip that you need, not that like overall broad tip.
And it sits in your hands so much more stable. You can literally, somebody's like this, you go pull on the gun, it's not coming out of their hands anymore. And so when you're doing that, when you go to fire it, the recoil in your hands is going to be way less too. So it's a good grip. I actually kind of do that with everybody when they shoot like a Black Ops or something like that. I'm like, here, you're going to put your hands like this, your thumb's going to go here. And I'll take my time and set their hands into the thing. And they're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, yep, there you go. So it's little things like that that make the biggest difference.
This is a question for both of you. For personal home defense, what, I know that like there's people have shotguns, they have rifles, they have a handgun. What guns or gun should people have for home defense? And I know that like people say you can never have enough guns. What if there was like, you could pick like your top 3?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on your home.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all. So, like, are you sharing a wall with your neighbor? That's an important thing.
Single-family residential. Single-family residential home.
So, I mean, I always think it's a good idea to have a handgun and a rifle, because you don't know what are you defending against? You have to be ready for, is it someone that just could knock down your door, or is it someone outside, trying to knock down your wall? Like what? It's always good to have options, I think.
Me personally, I don't like the shotguns. I think once you pull the trigger on it, everybody in the house is deaf. So if there's more than one in there, you can't hear anything. I like a 300 blackout with a suppressor on it, because everybody in the house can still hear. You can hear something if something's behind you. It doesn't blow everybody's eardrums out, and they're very accurate. You can put a really nice bright light with a laser pointer on it. You turn on that light, and it's sitting on your chest, and you got a laser right in the middle of here. If you can't figure that out, that it might be time to turn around and go the other way, that's on you.
Isn't there legislation getting passed about suppressors getting easier to acquire? Or is it happening or not happening? Or what do you guys know about that?
It's in the Supreme Court right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
May or may not happen.
Yeah.
For federal, like U.S. Supreme Court or state Supreme Court?
Yeah, it wouldn't. I don't think it necessarily get that much easier. It's going to get a little bit cheaper. Maybe.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
How long does it take to get a suppressor? Otherwise, it takes like a year or something like that.
It used to. It's a little bit quicker now, so it's already kind of easier.
A lot quicker.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker. You can get it in a couple of days now, but there's just this $200 tax that you have to pay on top of any other tax.
And then how much is a suppressor? What's the range? I mean, I know the range is all over the place, but for a decent mid level suppressor.
Mid-level suppressor, probably $800.
Yeah, so you're going to pay like $800 and then $100 in like sales tax and then like $200 in the extra tax stamp.
Does a pistol need a suppressor?
Need one? No.
I mean,
are they nice? Yeah.
Why?
Again, you don't blow out your eardrums.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need. If you get a really good one, like Burrow makes an unbelievable suppressor. They really do, and they're quiet. We were able to run a 50 cal with no hearing protection on through the suppressor.
Wow.
And it's only a 16
Yeah.
inch,
I mean,
and it was only 2 inches.
Everyone always asks why you need a suppressor until you're in a shooting. And then I think you understand why you need a suppressor. So I hope that nobody ever finds out why you need a suppressor and they can just trust that you need a suppressor. Yeah. It's really wildly crazy to me that those are regulated so much because they save your eardrums. So
the hearing save on those.
Yeah.
Like night and day.
It's like you think OSHA should be like pushing for them or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that has anything to do with shooting on there, your hearing is so much saved from it. I mean, it really is. It's your hearing protection from that. It becomes tenfold more.
I think there's some weird like stigma that we're all these like super spies out there with these silent guns.
Super ninjas.
Like shooting through pillows.
You watch the movies. Yeah, shoot through your pillow.
Or through your water bottle.
Yeah.
Or through your water bottle.
Yeah.
I think Wahlberg was in a movie where he shot through a water bottle and it suppressed the...
Probably don't do that. But...
Don't do that.
Yeah, I think it's like these weird stigmas that like in movies, you know. But yeah, I don't know why suppressors are like thought about like we're these weird super spies running around trying to.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is in England, it's extremely hard to get a license to shoot a firearm whatsoever or to own one. But the moment you have one, you can just go buy the suppressor.
Really?
Yep. Which is funny. I think.
That's hilarious.
There's like, yeah, go ahead. You can do that. It protects your hearing. It's like,
you think we'd want our hearing protected? I don't know what. I think it's some weird stigma that we've just created. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they make suppressors for shotguns?
Suppressors for just almost everything.
For every firearm they have.
I'm not a big fan of shotguns. I guess if I lived on a farm, I would probably be a bigger fan of shotguns for home defense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The way Vegas is built with everything like so close together and the noise and it doesn't make much sense for us here.
Well, we talked about this before. I think I have a buddy that's in Metro. My old townhouse I lived in. He came over and helped me walk through. This is how you clear the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. He said, it told me exactly what to say when you call 911. He said, this is what you do. I said, this is my daughter's room. This is my son's room. And my kids are here off camera, so I won't get into the graphics of it. But he told me specifically, if someone is in close proximity to your daughter and has this type of weapon, you do this. If they have this type of weapon, you do this. I was like, oh my gosh. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
In a good way. But thank you, Anton. It's like Anton Cordero. I love you because he just helped me walk through. Like this is how you do it. And again, you practice.
Yep,
is the biggest thing, and I think that's where people fall by the wayside.
Yeah, one of my training partners was on SWAT for a while, and he's still a sniper for Metro and stuff like that, and teaches all the anti-terrorism stuff for Metro. And
awesome.
He's a very good resource for doing stuff like that.
We're here in Southern Nevada. Where is the best place? Are these the best places to go to shoot a rifle? Because I know, like, you go out to Gene and you can hear the bullets. I've been there. I feel like I'm in Saving Private Ryan in the first 5 minutes.
Nick,
like, what the hell?
There's only one right answer here, so
you're in it.
Come here to shoot rifles?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually, to be quite honest with you, there's targets that you can get that you can zero in on. So you can zero out at 200, 300, 400 yards with the stuff we have here, even though the VIP is 25 yards.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can zero stuff here, and you can get to where you can shoot super accurately just doing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie and say it's not fun to go outside and do that. Also, but
but I've always thought like there's there's the county I think has a range up north.
Yeah, Clark County. Yep.
But you always hear about I got a place in the desert. I'm like I don't want to go in the desert and shoot. I don't want to do that. But I want a place that's safe.
There's a couple really nice outdoor ranges.
Yeah.
You have to drive quite far to get them. So if you're going for convenience and you're not, taking some time to drive out in the middle of nowhere, just depends what you're doing. Depends what your day looks like.
It'll make a great clip of Nick saying you can come right here in the VIP at 25. Seriously, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you can still accomplish everything you want to accomplish.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing. And you're not in the heat. Or you're not in the cold during the winter. And it's great to do that in a controlled situation because you can get your left, right. The only thing you'll have to work on is your windage, but that's pretty simple. If you have the device and you can hook it in, you can get the dope right off your cell phone now. It's not hard. The dope's what you use to, set your scope and stuff like that.
Click, click, click.
Yeah.
All I think of is in Saving Private Ryan, I forget the actor's name that played the sniper up in the bell tower. Was just like, it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level of
Yeah.
concentration and everything.
And I just got into that. So I had my first experience not too long ago, going out to Kansas and meeting Jim Bauer and getting to learn how to shoot a little bit from him. That was pretty darn amazing. First thing I do is sit down. He's like, what's first you shot? And I'm like, I don't know, 100, 150 yards. He starts laughing. He goes, okay, here, have a seat. Here's this gun. It's a 280 AI. He goes, so you're not gonna have to worry about the wind that much. He goes, click, 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 click. Here. See that bore out there, that metal bore at like 600 yards? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, aim right for the center of it with the crosshairs on it. I'm like, okay. And he's like, go ahead. And he kind of like shows me how to pull the trigger this way and not, you don't put your whole hand on he's like, you pull it this way and you're holding it like on the sandbag, mainly with your left hand. And I'm like, okay. He's like, go ahead and do it. And I'm like, and he goes, ping! And you're like, oh, I did something really cool. That was 600 yards away.
The ping.
And he's like, hit the back end of it. I'm like, ping! And he's like, hit the front of it. Ping! See the Ipsos trophy, the target next to it? Yeah, hit that. I'm like, ping! He goes, hit the head on it. And I'm like, ping! And he's like, fun, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, can I keep going? He's like, yeah, have fun. I shot out there for like an hour and a half.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But for him to just line it up like that and do that, and you're just like, and then from that point on, you're just playing with it yourself, and it was pretty special experience. It really was.
Good for you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's neat that that we're here. You have all this exposure, right, to so many people that care, people that are smart, and not just the people that work here, but like the BJ Baldwins that just happen to stop in. And he's one of the nicest guys you ever meet.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the smartest guys when it comes to ballistics. Like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing with the long distance shooting. Almost all these guys load their own stuff. And they're loading it down to the grain.
Yeah.
And they'll set up a little, I forgot what the device is called, but they'll set it up and you pull the trigger and it measures how many feet per second the bullet's firing. And you're watching like 3220, 3210, 3211, 3219. And they're all coming out at almost the same speed. So your grouping when you're shooting gets so tight from that. It's like absolutely amazing.
Wow.
So it's the skill just from loading the rounds is pretty crazy.
This is something I just thought of. Do you guys do classes on how to break a gun down and clean it? Do you ever do that?
We don't have like a specific class for that, but we'll help you out in the one-on-one. That's like kind of part of the how to take care of your gun.
That's what's been a biggie for me. I'm like, what, do I have to watch a YouTube video or what? Like if I could come in here and pay someone to show me how to do it, I would be in their debt forever.
Yeah, that's part of like...
And like how often, that's my other question is like when you shoot, if you're coming in and shooting once or twice a week, how often should you break your gun down for a thorough
So it's hard
cleaning?
to give a big class on that because it always depends on your gun, how much you're shooting, all these different things.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's why we always are like do that in the one-on-one because it's going to be a little different for each. It's almost impossible. You almost couldn't do that in a class because every gun is a little bit different.
BJ was hilarious because he broke his gun right in front of me. He's like, boop, 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 boop,
oh,
boop,
yeah.
boop. I'm like, motherfucker, really,
without even like, well, that's how you should be with your gun. You should be able to,
he literally could have a hood over him and do it blind. Like, no problem that guy could do it.
Well, it just shows you how much he's practiced, how many times he's done it, what his experience level is. Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's like you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, you roll a lot. You want to get good at boxing, you box a lot. You want to be strong, you lift a lot. You want to be good at bodybuilding, you do a lot of reps. I mean, it's anything else you want to be good at life in, you have to put the time in and the effort into it. There is no life hack for it. Yep. There's things that'll make it easier, but if you want to get good at something, you have to put the time in it.
Just do it over and over.
Over and over.
Sage advice.
Okay, so same question, but lifting weights. Okay. Where is the place to go lift weights in Vegas?
Dragon Lair is right down the street, so that's a pretty good place to go.
Great place.
I love going in there. Flex Lewis is awesome. He really is. Even though I break his equipment from time to time. Sorry, Flex. No, I literally just went in there a couple
Did
days
you
ago.
just break something there?
Yeah.
Flex and I have a lot in common. Nick just comes in and breaks all our shit. Haven't even met the guy, but I feel connected to him.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what did you break?
This time?
Yeah.
Or at the rate where?
At Flex's place.
Man, Nick pulled my door off one time, so that was fun.
Yeah, there was that.
Okay, so what did we break at Dragon Slayer?
A lat pull down machine.
Oh.
There's like the pads that hold your knees down to keep you seated in the machine.
Well, they hold my knees down. I don't know if they hold Nick's knees down.
Yeah, well, I was kind of pulling into it and I was doing the stack and I yanked it like really hard because I try to lift for speed and power. You know, I'm not bodybuilding when I'm trying to contract the muscle and squeeze it and make it shape a certain way. I want all the force all at once as fast as you can go because that's what strongman is. And to a certain degree, that's what powerlifting is too. When it's time to go, it's boom, you want it to go as fast as possible. And I was doing lat pull downs and the pin on the thing that holds your knees down snapped off. I was like, whoops. That doesn't happen every day. But yeah, so there's that. And then here I was...
There's a whole list. Are we going to do a whole list of all the things Nick has broken?
That Nick has broken this month.
The MG42.
Really?
Yeah,
I wasn't going to mention any of the guns that he broke.
Okay. Which is from...
He pulled the door off the hinges once. I think that's like pretty... That's enough. That's like...
The MG42 is from like 1942.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to... And the handle came off. So as I was trying to charge it, I was like, oopsie. I was like, Kris, I did it again.
But on the bright side...
I did it again.
It's hilarious.
I broke it.
When you need something heavy moved...
This is true.
He's your guy.
Yeah. Very handy when it comes to stacking pallets of ammo or water.
Ammo is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So everyone needs a Nick vest.
Moving guns around.
Everybody needs a Nick vest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everyone can't have a Nick vest.
I know.
But Range 702 has a Nick vest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And people can call when they see this if they want to have Nick train them. No problem.
Yep.
We just put a monster fridge up front. We were about to call like 3 people to move it. And then we were like, wait,
we have Nick.
We have someone for this.
We don't need a pallet jack.
No.
We've got Nick.
Who needs a pallet jack?
Just pick it up, set it down.
He did literally just pick it up and set it down.
That's hilarious. Thanks for coming in.
Oh,
thanks for coming downrange with us.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
Yeah. I like being downrange. It's a little weird being on this side of the...
Kind of cool, right?
firing line.
I know. You almost feel it. The first time I was down here, I was like, we're not supposed to be down here.
Yeah.
We're past the red line, guys.
I like this. It's like metaphorically like we're talking about things that has been talked about before. We're in a spot that most people aren't at, so it's kind of cool. The irony of it is kind of cool. And as this thing grows, it'll be fun to watch it. But and on behalf of Kris and I, we'd love to have you back on again.
Anytime you want.
And just you've got great stories. You're a great guy.
We didn't even get to the stories about Las Vegas because I grew up here. As a kid, I used to ride my bike up and put soap in the Caesar's Palace fountains. Sorry, guys.
Okay, Nick.
Nick, you should never admit that on camera.
Well, first of all,
we're going to do some PR training here before we get him on again.
And then I ditched school during the original MGM fire when I was in 7th grade.
That was his twin brother.
Yeah, that was my twin brother.
Yeah. All right. So in closing, what is the most memorable story you have about growing up in Vegas?
Oh boy, I don't even know where you go through. Gary Wells jumping the Caesar's Palace fountains and watching that, and him crashing and stuff. That was kind of crazy.
What year was that? Do you remember?
No, like in the 80s.
Because I'll have Max, my clipper, will find. Yeah, we'll find
video footage
and do footage of it.
Yeah,
we could do a screen, like a pause and look to see if we could see a little Nick.
That was pretty crazy watching that, and then seeing Travis Pastrana come back and do it again and just killed it, which was pretty neat. I was up in the Omnia at the patio in the Omnia watching that, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, I worked for Nevada Beverage at that time, so I got to be up there and do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Thank you, my friend.
No, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.